I love it. Hello, Rotarians and guests. Welcome to the Rotary Club of San Jose, meeting number 5,485. Welcome. Yes. My name is Matt Breaker, and I have the honor and privilege of leading our club and our meetings for this Rotary year, so thank you all for coming today. It's Wednesday, it's 12:10. What does that mean? It means it's showtime, and we are officially, I hope, on air. Is it working? Hey, look at that. Keep an eye on that. Larry, okay. So first up, would like to say thank you to the greeting line today, which was our membership committee led by Regina and Karen Fox. We're going to hear from an update from them, so thank you to them. And we'll do some traveling mics. I see them in the back there. We've got Stephanie Ligsay and Jonathan Padilla. Stephanie, there we go. Please introduce yourself. Yes. Go ahead.
Yes, I'm Stephanie Ligsay, and brand new member. This is my third meeting, and my sponsor is Larry Stone.
Oh, fabulous. Okay. Jonathan?
Hi, Jonathan Padilla. My sponsor was Richard Agiloni, and been here since April, so it's been fun.
Terrific, terrific. Well, welcome, both of you. Let's do some Rotarians with guests, and if you are a Rotarian with a guest, please stand, and we'll get the traveling mics to you for some introductions. Let's hold off applause to the end, but where can we start off here? Start with Dave right here.
I can talk about it.
Get it done, Dave, get it done.
Thank you, President Matt. I'm Dave Cowan. My sponsor is Ed Correa. And I would like to introduce to the club a woman who needs no introduction. I think she probably knows more people in the club than I do. Jan Berthold, who is Executive Vice President of Heffernan Insurance Brokers.
Wonderful. Okay. Past President Heather right over here. Love it.
Hi there. I am so excited that John Tang, former member, back in the room, San Jose Water, and he also brought a guest, Tanya Moniz Witten, also from San Jose Water.
Wonderful. Welcome. Okay. Here we go. Yes.
Yeah, my name is Yame. I'm the new member this year. Hi, Regina. So I brought my guest because Regina is a speaker today. Yu Zhao, she is a longtime auditor for Regina, where she worked for one of the local nonprofit.
Wonderful. Welcome. Yes. Kathleen Thomas, I see right here. Fun and Friendship Chair extraordinaire.
Hello, President Matt. Kathleen Thomas. My sponsor was Terry Chapman. And I just want to, she'll introduce herself, Bailey Phoenix. She's a manager over Fountainhead.
Hi, I'm a manager over at Fountainhead, but I went to Brown for architecture, and I have a really big interest in urban planning, which is why I came here today.
Terrific. Right on target. I love it. Elizabeth Monley.
President Matt, I would like to introduce my guest, my husband, Dave Monley, who's been sort of a regular.
Yes. Welcome, Dave. For those of you folks who are not here at the first meeting, Dave has created this wonderful device which has some fun to it, so keep an eye on it. There's different things that are going to show up on there. They're kind of fun. Any other introductions? I can see way over there. Past President Gary, hello.
Hello, President Matt. And it's my pleasure, and Rotarians, please, welcome back, Jeremy Harris.
Yes, indeedy. Back in the club, Jeremy Harris. Welcome. Okay. Are there any other? Well, terrific. Okay, welcome one, welcome up. Hello, oh my God. Oh, my Lord. 5 points off the final grade, maybe even just a failing grade right off the beginning. Past President Karen Sinanu-Towery, the floor is yours. Those extra minutes you wanted last week, they're back. Take it away. It's coming, it's coming.
It's coming.
Two guests we'd like to introduce today. One is Judge Paul of the Superior Court, and two is Tonya Robinson, who I met through the Independent Police Auditor's Office.
Oh, very nice. Welcome both. Yes. Okay, have I failed on anything else yet? No, okay, well, welcome everybody. Next up, we have a new member introduction. Are Melody and Kelly here? Oh, here we go. Come on up here. Walk on up, folks. So we're doing new member introductions. We got one here today. And for those of you who were not here for the first meeting, we're doing things a little differently this year. Just as a reminder, people's bios are in the bulletin. They're on the website. They're out in the lobby. I encourage everyone to read those. You'll learn, among other things, that Melody is a practicing physician, a plastic surgeon in town, which you'll get some more information about them. But instead of just repeating what's in that information, I think we started playing a little game here that I hope is going to make some connections between our existing Rotarians and our newest member, because that's what will cement people, the relationships, bring them in. So I do want to welcome Melody and her wonderful sponsor, past Red Badger there, Kelly Dipple. Welcome, come on over. So what we're going to do is we're going to play this little game here. Could I have everyone please stand up? The doctor says a little exercise every 20 minutes is very healthy, yes. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to ask a series of either-or questions. And if you agree with the answer of Melody, then you stay standing. If you have a different answer, you take a seat and remain seating through the remainder of the game. Don't worry, but keep paying attention. We'll tie it all together at the beginning. So here we go. Are you ready? Please step forward. Do I have to read this? No, you do not. I'm going to ask you a question.
Because I need my cheaters.
No reading involved. First question for you, and we're shaking up the questions, don't worry. But the first question is, would you rather read the book or watch the movie?
Watch the movie.
Okay, very good. Okay, excellent.
I have to say 10 years ago it would have been read the book, but I've been really getting into Netflix.
I love it. Okay, there we go. Would you prefer to, are you more inclined to get up early and go to the gym, or sleep in and have a little coffee on the couch?
Oh, no. Get up early and go to the gym. Oorah!
Okay.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Sleep in. Ugh.
I like it. How about this one? For vacation, would you rather go to the big city or visit a national park?
Oh, national park.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like it. We've got some people standing. The folks that are still standing, you're 4 for 4 with Melody. I ask you, go up, introduce yourself at the end of the meeting, make a connection, invite her to sit with you at the next meeting. And if you had 1 or 2 things in common, also, please go up and introduce. That's how we bring people, make them feel welcome to the club. So why don't we all stand up and give her our traditional Rotary welcome.
No. Thank you.
Please.
Oh, thank you.
Well, terrific. Thank you, Melody, and thank you, Kelly Dipple. All right. We've got the Rotary Spotlight out today. I have the absolute pleasure of sharing some wonderful news with everyone in our club today. Recently, 6 incredible women who are members of our club were named by the Silicon Valley Business Journal as Women of Influence. And I want to recognize them. These 6 amazing women are not only leaders in their fields, but they are people who are shining examples of compassion, of service, and commitment to making our community a better place. And they are wonderful ambassadors for our club. And it gives me great pleasure to recognize them today and honor them as for their well-deserved recent recognition. If they're here today, please stand up. I'd like to give them some shout-out. We've got Carla Lomax, excellent. Shauna Lucy, terrific. Sylvia Skandar-Mahan, Ginger Sotelo, Chelsea Souza, I saw Chelsea somewhere, excellent. Jennifer Van Every, okay. Wonderful, congratulations to all of you, make us so proud. And you know, I know we have several other past winners here. So if you've been a past recipient of Women Are, please take a rise, and we'd like to recognize you as well today. Oh, terrific, yes. Yes. Now, I was, what we got here? I was looking, I just want to say this. I was looking at the photos. I love the photos. These photos are, they capture the essence of the person, the style, the energy. They're just great. I can see why they were taken to be, they were put in the magazine on the night of the celebration. They were put up on the screen for everyone to see. They're terrific. But I have to say to those winners, I looked closely. Yeah, there's something missing. There's no pin, no pin, no pin, no pin. Oh, we got them here. No pin on them. So it pains me to do this while we recognize you, but yeah, that's part of our tradition. No pin, $100 fine for all 6 of you. So. Okay. Today we have our first episode in what is going to be a monthly running series of crime stories. That's right. You know the tune. All righty. And our speaker today to tell us this true crime story is my very good friend and the judge on Superior Court and former criminal defense attorney extraordinaire, Kelly Paul, is going to tell us a story. I'll just tell you this, a little background about it. I've been watching TV. I think they were Law & Order and another show. And as the story unfolds, I get to say, that is Kelly Paul's case right there, made for TV. So, Kelly, take it away. You know how this works better than I, so it's all yours.
All right, well, thank you. I appreciate the time to be here. This involves my former client, Lucas Anderson, who's given me permission to talk about his case in full. It starts off in a town called Montecito in this county. For those of you who don't know, it is one of the wealthiest communities in the state of California. It borders Los Gatos. It's known for large estates, locked gated communities. One of those estates was owned by Ravi and Harinder Kumra. They had been married 30 years but divorced, but when you own a 7,000 square foot estate, you can separately live in it in different wings. And during the early morning hours of November 30th of 2012, Harinder Kumra made a phone call to 911 reporting that she had been tied up, so had her ex-husband, and that their home had been robbed. Police arrived within, he took that out, that's right. He thought the pictures were too gross. The police arrived within 5 minutes, and what they found was that the house had been ransacked for cash and for jewelry, that latex gloves had been discarded into the sink, and they had been put with soap and water. I think they were hoping to wash off any crime evidence. In addition, duct tape had been brought into the house and was used to tie, bound, and gag both of the victims. Harinder was able to escape the tying and was able to call 911. Unfortunately, her ex-husband suffocated to death because of duct tape that had been wrapped around his head and face. So this was now a murder investigation, and police were involved. The initial evidence of cell phone records and DNA evidence led to the arrest of 2 suspects. Those gentlemen were 20 to 22 years old. They had ties to a known Oakland gang that was known for home invasions. And then, as is common practice, that fingernail clippings of the decedent are clipped and they're sent to the crime lab. That led to the arrest and the DNA hit of Lucas Anderson. So Lucas isn't exactly someone that you would want to take with you to a home invasion. Lucas was 26 years old. He had no ties to East Bay. He had no gang ties. He had been diagnosed as a paranoid schizophrenic. He also was an extreme alcoholic, and he had suffered a traumatic brain injury when drunk. He had stepped off a curb and had been hit by a truck. And so he was not necessarily the person that you would want to bring with you into a sophisticated crime. The other thing that we learned about the 2 individuals that were from East Oakland is that one of their sisters was a sex worker. And she had visited that house on a number of occasions because what we learned was that the owner of the home, Ravi Kumra, had a penchant for cocaine and prostitutes. And unfortunately, they had access to the house and knew the layout of the house through the sister. I started representing Lucas the day after he was arraigned in Superior Court. All three were charged with capital homicide. It was a gang home invasion robbery, which meant that all three men were eligible for the death penalty. And we knew for a fact that the crime occurred in a 3-hour window from 10:30 p.m. to 1:30 a.m. As you do in death investigation cases, you pull records on your client from the minute that day happened until the end. And what emerged, this is just the audio with him saying that he didn't do it. This is what emerged from the records was a perfect alibi. For those that work in the defense bar community, we don't get those very often. A lot of times we get, oh, my mom or my girlfriend will tell you where I was. This was a perfect alibi. Lucas, as I told you, had an issue with alcohol. On November 29th, at a little after 10 o'clock in the evening, he was belligerent and drunk at a store. The clerk called 311 to report that they needed help. San Jose Police Department arrived on scene and decided he's too drunk to care for himself, so they called San Jose Fire Department. San Jose Fire Department showed up. They know Lucas by name, social security number, and by birth date because he's a frequent flyer. They decided he's not safe, so an ambulance transported Lucas to Valley Medical Center Hospital in downtown San Jose, where he was on 10-minute checks for the rest of the evening until 9:50 a.m. when he was released. We used a process called reverse extrapolation. We figured out that Lucas's blood alcohol that night was a 0.43. For those of you that have a cocktail now and then, it takes some effort and practice to get to a 0.43. He could not have committed this crime. So it took us 5 months to collect the evidence, present it to the DA's office. They released him. They started their own investigation because how on earth did Lucas's DNA get on the fingernails of the victim that were clipped when the two men had never met? What they discovered is that the ambulance that transported Lucas to the hospital at Valley Medical Center is also the ambulance that arrived at the scene of the crime to transport the decedent's body. Somehow, over miles and hours, Lucas's DNA was transferred to the fingernails of the victim. Some think it was the pulse oximeter, some think it was the uniform, we'll never know. What we do know, it was the first documented case of ambulance transfer in the United States in a homicide case. Had this not been discovered, Lucas could have been executed. And we were very lucky. What we know is that it used to be, the phrase used to be buckets of blood. Yes, I know you're eating. You used to have a lot of DNA to get a sample. Advances in technology tell us now that you need 5 to 10 cells, and that's it to be able to get a full profile. So I would just ask as you guys move forward today, and you think of Lucas, that when you shake somebody's hand or you touch your fork, that you wonder where your DNA may end up later today. Thank you guys very much.
Not the story you expected from your DA up top, I know, but a very powerful story. Thank you, Kelly. Okay. Now we're going to get a membership update, and membership has been knocking it out of the park under the great leadership of Sarju and Karen. So, Sarju, take it away. Let's hear it for Sarju. Let's give a show some love.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. First off, we're getting a lot of congratulations for the great work that the membership committee is doing, but it's really the work of everybody in this room. We can't bring in members on our own. We'll vet them, we will help encourage, and we'll come up with recruiting ideas and engagement ideas, but it's really you guys that are doing the recruiting, so please give yourselves a round of applause. We really did have a banner year last year. All right, and anybody know what our total number was last year with new members plus reinstatements? 72, which was the most we've ever had. Well, I believe it's the most we've ever, as far back as we've tracked it, I think going back the last 12 years at least, which is excellent. And of course, we can't just have the same goal again. So our new goal for this year is 100 new members. It's not that daunting. And here's the real issue, okay? We have to do better than last year. Okay, because despite all of the great effort and all the great recruiting we did last year, it didn't help move our numbers because we also, for a variety of reasons, lost members. Which means, this is sort of the natural course of things, and we're taking a look to see if there's patterns and all that. But, of course, the great news is there's so many people who thought it would be a good idea for them to join this organization, and I certainly understand why. But if you think about how many members we have, we're at, I think, 399, I believe, is our current number. If everybody were to bring in, if every 4 people were to bring in a member, we're done. If every committee, we've got 50 committees, if every committee were to bring in 2 members, we're done, we're here, right? And this number is really, this 100 members is really to help offset some of the folks that we're going to lose inevitably for a variety of reasons. Hopefully we'll retain as many of them as we can. But this number is a really important number. So please don't let it scare you, please embrace it, and let's please jump on it, okay? So a couple stats, so like I said, 64 new members, 8 new reinstated. The other thing I'm really proud of is that this past year, we, of our added folks, 60% of them were women. I know we talked about this last week with Gloria Home being here, and she was the first female member of her Rotary Club in Palo Alto. I know there was a time where we didn't have any women in this club, and the goal was to get to 20%. We're now above 40% total for women in this group. And adding 60% last year helps us get to greater parity. So I want to congratulate us for that as well. In terms of new sponsors this month, this is pretty cool. So we've got 2 new sponsors this month, Ginger Pajeska as well as Daniel Zezweta. Daniel, many of us know. Ginger is new to California. She was the president of her Rotary Club in Temple, Texas, and she hit the ground running. So she's been an amazing new member. I also want to take this opportunity to announce that you guys may remember that last year we were doing 40 free lunches, right? So for the first 40 people who brought guests, we're switching it up this year as an incentive for folks to bring in new members. If you bring in a new member, you get the free lunch, okay? Except for Rod, he only gets 1, because we only have 40. But so anyway, I want to congratulate Ginger and Daniel for jumping on it this year, being the first 2 to sponsor new folks, and they're going to get a free lunch. Here's our membership process, just to sort of as a refresh. The person needs to visit twice. Ideally, it's 2 meetings, 2 of our Wednesday meetings, but if they come to a barbecue or to the gala, that would count as a visit as well. And those are often great opportunities for folks to really meet one another in an unstructured, less structured environment so that there's not much of an agenda. The applications are everywhere. You're going to get them in the weekly newsletter that you receive from Leslie on both Fridays and Mondays. It's also on the website. It's an electronic format now, and we ask that everybody embrace that because we had a heck of a time reading some of those applications. The deadline to submit applications is the first Wednesday of the month because the membership committee meets the second Tuesday of the month, and so we need time to vet those references. Candidates should give their references a heads up that they're going to get called, and here's the type of information they're looking for. Once the membership committee vets and approves an application and then goes on to the board, which meets the third Tuesday of the month, and at that point, they're approved, and they can become new members as soon as they pay their fees. So for fees, it's $500 for the initiation fee. This is for brand new members, and the annual fee is $975, up $25 from last year. You may have noticed, plus $400 for the foundation. $300 of that is for our foundation. $100 is for Rotary International Foundation. Now, for former members who reinstate, meaning that they left the club in 5 years or less, they get to reinstate for only a $100 reinitiation fee, and they don't go through the normal vetting process. So those folks, it's a little bit easier. It's a lot easier for them to become new members. And I want to thank Jeremy for rejoining this club. You're our first reinstatement for the year. And of course, once we get them in the room, we want to keep them in the room, right? We want to keep them in this club. And there's all sorts of reasons to stay in Rotary. There's so much great work that we do through the various committees and all the service projects that we have. But people need to know that all that's happening. So sponsors, please continue to stay in touch with your members. Make sure that they're engaged. Find out what their experience has been like. And let's do what we can to keep those folks as lifers. All right, now I mentioned the 41st sponsors are going to get a free lunch. We're also going to start doing a quarterly raffle, a quarterly drawing for all the new sponsors within that quarter. And Scott Seafood has been gracious enough to contribute $100 gift certificates. So we'll be raffling off a $100 gift certificate at the end of each quarter. I talked about each committee. If you brought in 2, we would be at our goal. There will be a committee challenge coming soon, so please keep an eye and ear out for that. And lastly, there's no better time than right now to be thinking about who should be a member who is not currently a member. Okay? So please, normally we don't want you looking at your phones in here, but at this point I'm going to invite you to do so. Please grab your phones and think about, what does our club need more of? Are there new leaders in town that we haven't reached out to yet about Rotary? Who's impressed you recently that you'd like to spend more time with? Who's that obvious great fit for Rotary who is still not a member? And, just a suggestion, very simple. You free next Wednesday? I'd love for you to join me for a Rotary meeting. I really think you'll like it. Put it in your own words, but, those of you who don't want to get creative, I'm your ChatGPT up here. All right, that's all I have for you. Thank you, guys. Let's keep up the great work.
Past President Heather is in the house. Yes, indeedy. Okay, and you may recall that at Past President Heather's debunking, we prepared some words of appreciation for her, a kaleidoscope of appreciation, as it were. And we asked Emily Robin to put those together into a nice gift for her. So please, Past President Heather, step forward with Jason Stein, who led our debunking, and Emily Robin, and here you go.
Great. Is the camera on me? Does my pin right there? As President Breaker said, we all contributed some little notes of love and appreciation for you. And the only thing I love more than Rotary is arts and crafts. And so I made this little scrapbook for you. Oh, also, hey, hon. It's fine. All the notes that were pasted on the wall are in here for you. Sort of a rainbow kaleidoscope of your contributions, including notes from a couple of really important past presidents, a couple of late members who submitted notes, and I really hope you enjoy it. You'll have to bargain with the club about if you want to leave this here for people to look at for the next couple weeks, or if they just have to come to your house or something and visit it. Anyway, there's a couple of photos here, just so you can kind of see what it looks like. There's a little, just some little snippets of what it looks like on the inside. All right, there you go.
This should come up to you. Yeah, exactly. Thank you. Oh, picture, yeah.
Sorry.
Okay, yeah, well, we're running on schedule. That's always good, isn't it, folks? I think so. So I thought before we hear a serious talk, I thought we should have a little fun. So we've got a little game coming your way. That's right, that's right. We're going to play a little Name That Rotarian game. Who would like to participate in this game? You know how it works. We're going to put up some photos. We're going to see what you know. Do we have any takers to play in our fun little game here? Raise your hand. Oh, come on. Am I going to have to call on someone? Elizabeth, there we go. All right, here we go. Now, let's see what we've got. I'm going to put the first photo up. If you need a little clue, we can go forward with that. Okay? Here we go. Okay, that's a tough one, I will say. Let's step it up with a little clue here. So yes, this Rotarian loves fishing. Okay, there's your clue. Okay, wow, I don't see any hands up here to help. You can phone a friend, you can go 50-50. We'll go one more. Last chance. Looks like a woman of influence to me, folks. Chelsea Souza, Gala co-chair this year. Okay, very nice. Okay, just want to do a few quick announcements. The Fun and Friendship's first event of the year is going to be, their inaugural event is going to be a Music and Munchies event at Nancy and Mike's place. We've changed the date to fit some other things, so it's on August 17th, 3 to 6 p.m. We have the QR code here, but you don't have to use the QR code. There is a sign up right out in the lobby. Please sign up. We're hoping to get a little estimate of how many people would come. It's going to be a great chance to meet, mingle, and build those bonds. We have no charge, key point, no charge, all fun, drinks on you. Then we've got our next golf outing coming up on August 19th. We just had one. It was a lot of fun. There was no 19th hole. That's the reason I go, and I think most people go. So I've been assured by Tim we will have a 19th hole meetup after this. But if you're a golfer or just want to check it out, please come out. And then on September 10th is the barbecue, folks. Again, mark your calendar. This is a great opportunity just for you to have fun, but to bring a significant other, bring someone who may be interested in checking out Rotary. We're going to have a little theme to it that we're going to unveil surrounding a little country music. Might have a pie baking contest. I hope I'm not the only one who does that kind of stuff, likes to bake some pies. So put it on your calendar. And next week's speaker is going to be Jessica Traunstein, talking about the process and quality of representation in American democracy, the ways in which formal and informal local political institutions generate inequalities. I haven't heard her, but I know some Rotarians have heard her previously speak and said she's absolutely fabulous. So mark that on your calendar. And today's speaker is Regina Celestin Williams, who's going to be talking to us. We'd like to let you know that we're making a contribution in your name to the Children's Musical Theater, which is one of the organizations we're supporting this year. And of course, at the end, I'm going to give you one of our freshly minted challenge coins with our theme for the year and the Rotary logo on the back. So with that, please give a warm welcome to Regina Celestin Williams. And she's going to be introduced by Chuck Cantel, so come on up, Chuck. Thank you.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. I have the distinct honor of welcoming and introducing Regina Celestin Williams, the Executive Director of SV at Home, for today's speech. I came to a realization while I was doing a little research on Regina. You really don't know as much as you think you know about someone until two moments. One is a eulogy, and the other is an introduction, and thankfully this is an introduction. So I recently had the pleasure of having Regina be my guest on a podcast that I created called Dying to Stay Here. An amazing, you should watch it, amazing conversation. Like I said, she's the executive director of SV at Home with 17 plus years of affordable housing and community development experience. She's the former director of housing development at First Community Housing in San Jose. I knew that. What I didn't know was she's a board member at Merit Community Capital and Richmond Land, two important organizations in our region. And she is also a former honoree in 2023 as a rising star for the Nonprofit Housing Association of Northern California. She's also one of 15 most influential Black leaders in the San Jose Spotlight, and also a 40 under 40 in 2023. I didn't know that, but wow. Like I said, she is an exceptional person who is a proven leader in our community and is also heads the household of her family in the 3rd District. She has 2 amazing daughters and a partner, Jamal, in her family. So with no further ado, Regina Celestin Williams.
Well, so which one did you get? Did it say applause there? This is incredible. I love that. So thank you so much for having me. Thank you, Chuck, for the invitation. Thank you, Rotarians, for your generous hospitality. As soon as I found my way up the elevator, it's been great to be in this space with you. And once again, I've actually been here before, so I feel honored to be the speaker this time. And I also feel really grateful for all of the familiar faces I see in the room. I'm gonna chat a little bit today about who gets to stay, why housing is the heart of San Jose's future. And I know many of you know this, and so I'm also looking forward to the engaging conversation at the end during the Q&A. So as Chuck mentioned, my name is Regina Celestin Williams. I'm the Executive Director of Silicon Valley at Home. But I really want to talk about like how I am even here today. I actually grew up in the Bay Area, in the East Bay in Richmond, California. And I grew up in what we called the Barretts. It is 300 plus units of affordable housing, public housing, Section 8 housing, where my mother, a single mother with 3 daughters, was able to raise me and my family. We had extended family that lived in that community. My grandmother had an apartment. My cousins shared another apartment. My sister, once she got married to her husband, stayed in a different home with their 3 children. And so I am here today because of affordable housing, because it exists, because there's a community of people who commit to building homes that can be affordable, even in this very successful, expensive Bay Area where we can exist. My mother worked 2 jobs in 2 different hospitals just so that we could live in the Barretts and live in the Bay Area. And so I'm very grateful to be here. And every time I have the privilege of showing this photo with me and a sister and a cousin in the Barretts, I feel a tremendous amount of gratitude to the sector, the folks who commit to supporting this work. And so I want to talk about that first grade teacher, that paramedic, that restaurant manager, all these folks who we interact with on a daily basis in different ways. They impact our world, who may be living in their cars or in other unstable conditions in San Jose, all working full-time jobs. Those are the folks that I know that benefit from affordable housing, folks that are vital to our local economy, but unfortunately struggle to afford to live here. So my challenge to all of us in this room is, who gets to stay? Today I'm going to talk a little bit about housing in San Jose. I will admit I have more slides than I would like. That's because at SB at Home we pride ourselves on basing our work on research, so I'll share a little bit of research about San Jose with you today. I'll talk a little bit about what affordable housing is to make sure that we're all clear about what we're talking about. And then I'll share the economic impact, which I know you all, given your leadership positions in this city, in this community, are constantly thinking about the success of this city, how we can be thriving and vibrant. I know you're invested in that work, so I'll talk a little bit about the impact on that goal of a vibrant San Jose. And then I'm gonna hopefully compel you to see that the time is now to create a place where everyone can live. So, this slide really shares the fact that housing costs have outpaced wages in this community. When the median housing cost, the median rent is over $3,000, and the median home price is over $1.5 million, it is absolutely challenging for folks who are working in this city, in this county, to live here. As you can see, The average rent is over $3,000, and the California minimum wage gets you to about $2,700 a month. You know, so we can see our colleagues and our community members who work here, maybe a home health aide who makes over $3,200 a month, someone who works in childcare making $3,600 a month. How much money is left over for them to be able to afford the average asking rent of over $3,000 a month? A renter earning minimum wage would need to work almost 4 full-time jobs just to afford the average. And then we have nearly half of all of renters are rent burden. So what does that mean? That means that folks who are essential workers are likely commuting 90 minutes or more from places like Stockton or Hollister. Folks who are impacted the most by this housing affordability crisis are folks who are low income, folks who are absolutely working. 37% are in the workforce, and another 35% have worked. Our seniors are folks who are on a fixed income. So we can see that many of our extremely low income renters are impacted tremendously by the high cost of housing here in San Jose. And then we can see here, like, I know you're thinking like, okay, how did we get to this place where housing costs was so expensive? Well, we are in a tremendous economic engine. I mean, there is so much innovation and wealth and productivity. And so as job growth increased in the Bay Area, and here we're showing between 2011 and 2018, housing units permitted, approved, was not growing at that same rate. So we're creating jobs, and it's still happening today. We're creating jobs. The economy locally is tremendously successful. And so how do we make sure that the rate of production of homes is keeping pace with the possibility of what this valley can become? Even high-income workers are feeling the squeeze at this point. When one home is created for every 8 jobs, everyone is feeling the squeeze. Rents go up tremendously, 75%. The median home prices are up nearly 300% over this time period. And while our high-income workers are even feeling the squeeze, middle and low-income families are being pushed out entirely. That's our workforce. So one of the ways that we at SV at Home like to think about how we got here, in addition to that sort of jobs to homes, production, and balance, is also the legacy of discrimination in this country. This is a map of San Jose that shows how the Federal Housing Administration program redlined this community and prevented folks of color, minorities, Black folks, Latin folks, Latinx folks, from being able to live in the various communities within San Jose, right? Many of us recognize that this is the history that we have, that we're continuing to build upon. And there are other impacts of these policies. So there are discrimination that affects, you know, how renters experience the city, how homeowners are being able to access homes through appraisals that are impacted by discrimination. The ability to build more affordable housing is impacted by policies and practices that are on the base discriminatory. And so we have this legacy that we're working to counteract as we continue to build the San Jose that we know is possible, that works for everyone. This graph on the right shows us that the median household wealth by race and ethnicity is tremendously imbalanced, right? So there's a challenge in terms of housing stability to be able to, if you're a resident that's Black or Latino, to be able to support extended family or your children because of a lack of wealth in this particular community. And that means that many more folks who are Black and Latino are impacted by displacement and homelessness. So we have another policy challenge around zoning and land use regulation. Single-family zoning reinforced the segregation, that history of segregation that happened during a time when the county was growing rapidly. So as you can see in this map, and there's another map that we have of San Jose in particular, this is countywide, but you can see the proliferation of single-family zoning in Santa Clara County. And what we found in our studies is that in Bay Area cities, when the percentage of single-family zoning goes up, home values are $100,000 more than other areas of the city. Incomes are $34,000 higher, and the increase of racial disparities is tremendous. Those communities are nearly 20% whiter. So we can see that how our policies, our practices are reinforcing a legacy that we are trying to counteract when we want to create a community that works for everyone. And this is throughout the Bay Area, throughout, Silicon Valley. I will say that in the city of San Jose, more than 90% of our land area is zoned for single-family homes. More than 90%. So, I want you to think about a city that is thriving, maybe somewhere that you visited, maybe even somewhere that you've lived, and just think of the most vibrant one. Imagine that one, and think about what kind of buildings there were. What did the landscape look like? Was it single-family homes, or was it much more dense than that? And that's sort of the imagination, the creativity, the innovation that I ask you to bring to our challenge of building in San Jose. Affordable housing is different for everyone. There's lots of different types of affordable housing. There's housing that's available to our workforce, our families, our elders, not just folks who are extremely impoverished, but folks who are working or who have worked, who have community, who continue to serve us, to work alongside of us. Affordable housing, if you haven't had the opportunity to visit some, is an asset to our communities. It's not just about shelter. It's about long-term homes for everyday people who make our economy run. And so I want to take the opportunity to just share a little bit about our framing about what affordable housing, what the opportunity is about creating more affordable housing. We have a challenge. Our challenge is that when you build housing and the cost is high and the operating expenses are high, it turns out that you need at least, in this example, $3,600 a month to cover expenses for each home that's built. So if you have a family that can afford $800 in rent, then there's a gap. There's a gap that exists between the average family that we talked about earlier, that's working in this community and living in this community, and what rents are charged to cover just the cost of those communities. In our mind, building affordable housing, investing in affordable housing is about closing that gap. It's about moving a mountain that feels, insurmountable for any given family closer so that they can afford it, so that they can afford to live here and stay here and work here and send their kids to school here and have access to stable, affordable housing. And so what we do at SV at Home is we advocate for resources from the federal government, state government, local government, leveraging those resources, not just relying on one, but leveraging all of them to push that mountain closer, to create homes that folks can afford. And that results in an economic, impact that we all benefit from. Right now, there are challenges in retaining and recruiting talent in this valley, which does not make sense because we have, the innovation, the minds, the jobs to attract folks from around the world. There's an economic stratification. We are building a city where only wealthy folks can live when the rents continue to go up and the price of home ownership continues to go up. Millions of dollars to access home ownership means only wealthy folks are going to be left here in San Jose. And so what our future is, what we're offering to the next generation is determined by the homes that are available. If children are impacted, and we've studied the impact of housing on school closures, if children have to change schools multiple times in a year because of the lack of affordable housing, how do they succeed in class? This truly is about our future. And research also shows that the shortage of affordable housing costs our economy. There are benefits that we could be capturing if folks lived closer and if they were more stable in their housing and able to show up for work day in and day out. And affordable housing also allows families and folks who live in this community to continue to invest in other businesses, entertainment, things that they need, food, clothes, in this community. It really allows this economy to continue to cycle the dollars of the folks who live here. There is an opportunity for us to allow families to save $940 a month on average so that they can spend those on the things that themselves and their families need. I also want to mention that, as we continue to invest in homelessness, there is a direct link to our homelessness crisis as a housing crisis and a housing affordability crisis. As we look at, data across cities, there is a connection between cities with higher rents and how they have higher rates of homelessness. And so building more affordable housing and investing in this sector is really about upstream solutions, making sure that folks never experience homelessness in the first place in our community. So again, I asked you, who gets to stay here? There's an opportunity for all of us in this room to be invested in answering that question. I ask you to consider, being a champion of zoning reforms and ballot measures for future revenue for affordable housing. Funding nonprofits like SV at Home and supporting our work as we continue to build collective change. Connect to mission-driven developers and be narrative changers. As we learn and understand better what can contribute to a healthy San Jose, use your influence to talk to the folks in your network about what we can do. We have the resources, the land, the talent. So what we need is the collective will and leaders like you who can help lead the way. In San Jose, we don't back down from complex problems. We solve things. We invest in futures. So let's invest in one where our kids, teachers, our small business owners, the folks who work in our hospitals don't have to leave to live. Let's build a valley where everyone has a place. And again, the question of who gets to stay is really a question about who we are. So let's answer it with courage and creativity. I want to invite you to connect with SV at Home. We want to engage you in this work, so please find ways to connect with us. And then I also want to just invite folks to an event we have coming up on Friday. What are the housing needs of undocumented residents? It's a virtual event, so I invite you all to join. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. It was really interesting. We have some time for some questions. We can get the traveling mics going, and we got some questions here. We're going to move left to right for Zoom purposes. Past President Fernando, fire away.
Thank you. It seems like we have two very intractable problems here. One of them is that building affordable housing sounds like a good idea, except that the builders have to make a profit. And if they don't make a profit in building these units, they won't get built. The second problem is the people that are homeless and without the income necessary to pay for the rent that is being charged is because they don't have the marketable skills needed to earn a higher income in order to be able to afford the kind of housing that you're speaking of. And I'm not sure where that answer is, because trying to educate those who are without those marketable skills seems to be an intractable problem. And I applaud your efforts, but it seems so difficult to be able to overcome the problems of homelessness if they do not have the kind of, well, those are the questions that I'm posing to you, is how can we get those two problems resolved?
Yeah, I mean, the first one I'll address is that you're right in that if I'm an affordable housing development business, I have to continue to operate my business. So there's a necessity for there to be fees that are earned as anyone who provides a service or a business. I wouldn't call it profit for a couple of reasons. A lot of those developers are limited in how much they can earn, and they have to justify that it is to run their business. And so just like any other business, you have to continue to be able to do business so that you exist. The other thing is real estate is actually a very risky proposition. And so you also need to manage risk, and that requires things like buffer, like cushion, in budgets. And so I wouldn't call it profit. It's really about being able to make sure that the community gets built. And it's just about managing the risk that comes up with the market dynamics that happen. The other thing is, I'm really asking you today to expand your vision and vocabulary around who is served by affordable housing. It's actually folks who have great skills that serve us, that we need in this community, and we need them to actually do the jobs they do. And so that's what I'm asking you to do. I know there's been a lot of focus on folks who are experiencing homelessness, who have, a challenge of coming back into community after living unhoused outdoors and experiencing that trauma. And I'm asking you to expand beyond that and recognize that we can open up the conversation around affordable housing to serve so many people that we need to do just exactly what they're doing.
All right. Larry Stone, we got 2 minutes.
Okay. Everybody likes affordable housing. Everybody wants it, except in their neighborhood. There's a tremendous political pushback, silent in many cases, against affordable housing. I know what I speak of because I built, developed, and owned 500 units of 100% affordable housing. I couldn't do those, half in San Francisco, half in San Jose. I couldn't do those projects today, even though they were very difficult at that time. So what kind of reforms do we need? politically to overcome not just money, but to overcome the politics against affordable housing?
Yeah. I appreciate that question, and that's exactly what I'm doing here today. We need folks to envision a city that doesn't look like what the city looks like today. We need folks to embrace change, because that is what's going to remove the limits from what San Jose can accomplish. As we continue to push out people, we limit ourselves. As we continue to preserve neighborhoods just the way they are, we set boundaries for how the city can grow and be great. And so we need folks like you to be leaders. I think in terms of legislation, we actually have it. We have great streamlining legislation that has come down from the state. So we need folks like you to be ambassadors to tell people, actually, we want this change. We want affordable housing here. It's going to serve all the folks that we want in our neighborhoods.
Are you going to stick around for some questions afterwards?
Sure, I can do that.
I see we've got a few more questions, but we're about out of time, so Regina's kindly said she'll stick around for some questions, so please come up and ask your questions afterwards. Regina Celestin Williams, thank you so much. Very interesting talk today. You do, take that. We're going to get a photo taken right over here. Thank you so much. Okay. All righty, great meeting. Had a lot of fun. Hope you did too. We'll be back next Wednesday, and I'm going to send you out, as I seem to, with some country music. My sentiments right now are, it's 5 o'clock somewhere, so let's get after it, shall we? And with that, our meeting is adjourned.